Did I get
Yeah,
it?
we're recording.
Awesome.
Okay, so
Alright.
episode 5.
Episode 5.
Woo! We've reached a milestone, sort of ish. I don't know.
I'd say 5 is a milestone.
I
It
don't
means
fucking
we've
know.
dealt with each other this long.
Yeah, that's true. And new location.
Yes.
We are actually filming in my house, my little den of horrors. Ooh, spooky.
Which is very. It has a lot of interesting stuff, I will say.
It does have some interesting stuff. We'll show you guys, I'm sure, at some point. So we obviously have our Artist of the Week segment,
Yes.
which we started last episode.
Right.
We have our comparison.
Yeah.
Our comparison this time around is Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the 1977 version against the 2004 remake. I was going to throw in the 2013 Texas Chainsaw 3D, but I haven't seen it yet. Have you?
No.
All right, so we're going to cut that one out.
And that we don't want to ruin it for people because
Yeah, because
we'll end up talking about
I
it.
still haven't seen it yet, and I really want to see it.
Yeah. So that'll be.
And our movies this week, let's see, my two were a Serbian film and Live Freaky, Die Freaky. And your two were
The Birds, and Born. Now, I will say, because I feel like a jackass now that I did watch the episode.
I told you.
Born, even though I said, oh, it's a decent movie, that was because I watched it like 2 years ago.
All right, I think we should just jump into Born.
Yeah, we'll jump right into Born.
All right, this was made in 2009.
Yeah, it's fairly new.
It's got Kane Hodder,
Yeah,
which we discussed.
it was Jason for a little while.
Quite some time. I could slap you for picking this fucking movie. I really could.
It's such a horrible movie.
I had never seen this, and I saw the DVD.
That's why you've never seen it, though.
That's probably true, but the thing is, I saw the DVD, and the cover just spoke to me because I love satanic horror films.
Right,
I love demonic.
It's very into that.
And the thing is, like, the storyline is very, very similar to Rosemary's Baby, which I'm a huge, huge fan of.
Yeah, Virgin gets pregnant with a demon baby.
And the demon is her brother, so incest.
Yeah, lots of, and he's not like too ashamed to admit it too. He's like, it's my sister.
But
yeah.
let's actually get into. Obviously, we both dislike this movie.
Obviously.
I'm gonna be straightforward. I fucking hate this movie. This movie
Worst horror movie I've seen so far. And reason I said it last time, like it was alright last time, because I have not seen a Serbian film. And now that I've seen a Serbian film,
we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that.
Born is so bad.
But oh my god, this movie was just bad. And I love Kane Hodder. I think he's a phenomenal actor.
He just destroyed it.
His acting in this was horrible. The script was horrible. The dialogue was bad. The one scene that was actually somewhat cool was when the quote-unquote virgin mother was having sex with the British guy, and the demon bites his dick off.
That was a good.
That was pretty good.
That's a good
that was
scene.
pretty cool.
Like,
but
compared to the rest
again,
of the
I
movie.
hate this movie. I'm not going any further.
I told you could shut it off if you wanted to.
Dude,
Because I realized how bad it was when I first watched it. I'm like, it started all coming back to me. I'm like, oh, this movie sucks. And then I'm like, you can turn it off. And you watched it the whole.
I did make it the whole way through.
You're a trooper.
So points for watching this hunk of shit all the way through.
Don't watch it.
Yeah,
I'm saving you the pain right now. Just don't watch it.
So what's your rating?
1.
1. I'm gonna be a little bit nicer only because Kane Hodder's in it. I give it a 2.
I've only seen Kane Hodder as the Jason movies.
I've seen him in a couple of other flicks. I really liked him in a lot of the other flicks. But
just
yeah,
one.
That was a giant hunk of crap. All right, so I'm up.
Now we're gonna go to the top of.
Nope.
You're not.
Next up is Live Freaky.
You're gonna do Live Freaky.
I'm gonna save the best for last. You gotta save the best for last.
Yeah, I know. Okay, we'll save the best for last. But this
Live
movie's
Freaky,
just
Die
freaky.
Was a Hellcat production. For those of you guys who don't know, Hellcat production is done by Tim Armstrong, probably better known to the punk rock viewers. He's one of the guys who started the band's Warped Tour. The whole movie is nothing but a punk rock cast. I mean, you got guys from Green Day. You've got
Blink 182's in there.
Yeah, Good Charlotte. Davey Havoc from AFI.
Yeah.
He plays one of the characters. The B-52s. I mean, it's literally
B-52.
It's all punk bands. Now the cool thing is this is based off the Manson family massacre,
Yeah.
which, of course, based off true story, horror films are always fun to watch.
Just to see how much they get it right.
This thing was hilarious because it's all done in claymation. And not even good claymation. It's pretty bad.
No, it's bad claymation.
It's pretty bad.
It's like, it reminded me of like early Wallace and Gromit.
Very true, very true. However, it's very perverse. It's completely politically incorrect.
You could say that.
I mean, the scene where we first get introduced to Charlie and
oh goodness,
and he's having sex with Sadie, and there's the scene where she's sitting up on top of him, and all you see is the silhouette, and she starts spinning around like a fucking top. That was hilarious. And then there's the scene where oh my god, we're already down to one battery.
Oh my goodness. All right, this is gonna be a two-parter if we don't stop.
And the whip cock was pretty hilarious. I don't know about you. This movie, to me, it's not super horror. There is a good amount of gore to it.
Claymation gore.
But it's funny.
It's funny.
This movie is truly a horror comedy,
funny.
and there are few and far between for horror comedy that I will honestly say that get me to laugh every time I watch it. And Live Freaky, Die Freaky is one of those movies.
It's I was trying to watch it from that seriousness perspective, and then at the end I was just like, this is so retarded. It's funny. I love it, but it's just retarded.
It's retarded. And the great thing is, I actually looked up on IMDb how much money they spent on this. This movie was made for less than $700.
Really?
It was.
Nice.
And that gains a few points. So my rating for Live Freaky, Die Freaky, I give it a 6.
Yeah, I'll go with that. A 6, because it's.
I can't go any further than that, only because it's
not
real
scary. It's not like.
And the musical numbers are pretty good. I mean, I really liked Mechanical Man.
Yeah.
At the beginning, and Creepy Crawl was a cool song. I did like that. All right, so The Birds by Mr. Alfred Hitchcock.
One, if not the greatest, one of the greatest Hitchcock movies. I mean, Vertigo is right up there. That's probably like my favorite Hitchcock movie.
That's my favorite.
But when we talk about known Hitchcock movies that everybody can talk about on
Vertigo,
an equal level.
Now, see, Vertigo, not only is it my favorite, but I don't know if you ever saw it. Bravo did a show called The 100 Scariest Movies.
Okay.
And Psycho was in there, The Birds was in there. Vertigo actually surpassed both of them.
Really?
Which I was really surprised, because I love Vertigo.
I love Vertigo too.
And I thought Vertigo was much scarier.
But with Vertigo, for me, it's like I would try to talk to somebody else about it, and they wouldn't know what the hell I'm talking about.
Yeah,
and I talk about The Birds, and they know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, unfortunately, with Hitchcock, the two that are obviously always talked about are The Birds and Psycho.
Which I've gone through.
We've now done. For me, The Birds, I didn't care for it. I didn't think
it was alright.
It was better films. I'm sorry. It was.
I liked it.
It's much like Jaws and the other animal attacks, so it's scary because it could happen, kind of a thing. But the birds look so horrible.
Well, there was a mix in between actual birds and kind of like birds on sticks.
I don't care. They were just bad looking. The acting wasn't that great for a Hitchcock flick. I'm sorry. I personally, I can't give this a huge rating.
I won't give it a huge rating, but it is
for
definitely
me.
one of them.
For me, I give it a 5. And again, kind of like with you, with Faust, Love of the Damned, I'm being nice on this.
Now, watching The Birds, I liked it because, like you said, it was like Jaws. It could actually happen, and I kind of like those movies. It freaks me out, but it was the early '60s.
That's true.
And of course, things weren't exactly excelled as they were now, and they used a lot of different things that was actually pretty revolutionary. So,
what's your rating?
Would you say 5?
I give it a 5.
I'll do a 7.
7?
And
all right, now we get into the creme de la creme. This movie is so good. A Serbian film. From
it's so good. It makes me feel dirty.
It does make me feel dirty.
Makes me feel dirty liking it.
It does make you feel dirty for loving this movie. And the cool thing with a Serbian film is it really had a story to it.
It did, and it had a moral, which is
yeah.
Not a lot of movies have nowadays, which is odd.
Milo,
Milo, I think it is.
Retired porn actor. He's running out of money, so he needs to find work.
Yeah.
Kind of gets called back into the business to make this more of an artsy
porn film. Adult art.
and he's not really sure what's going on because there's no script, and the director wants it to be as real as possible.
Yes. So everything that happens is
and certain things, you know, at first it seems kind of just like, oh, this is more of an art film than anything else. But then things really start to get kind of gruesome.
The girl sitting there.
The girl sitting there while he's getting blown, and the other chick biting onto his dick, and blood just pouring out. Then we find out that he's being drugged, and he's been raped, he's been beaten. I'm sorry, I know that it's horrible to laugh at this scene, but they've got this blonde woman, and she's chained down, and they've drugged him, and it boosts his libido, and he's just pumping away. And the director's screaming, hit the bitch. And at first he starts slapping her ass.
Yeah.
And at first you're like, oh, it's just going to be a rough sex scene. And then he comes down and he's slamming her in the back with his fist.
And she's screaming.
And you just see the bruises start to welt up. Well, then some guy who looks like he's from, you know, a SWAT team comes in and hands the guy a machete. And he just comes down and he takes the broad's head off. And he's still pumping away as her head is being...
A dead body.
I mean, I'm sorry. That was just hilarious to me, and I know it's horrible to laugh at. I don't want to give too much away because I know a lot of people still haven't seen it.
But watch it.
Serbian film. I'm gonna give my rating a perfect 10.
Perfect 10. And I mean, even though like, oh, we got Nosferatu in the 10, and we got FW Murnau, he's just in 10. Period. Yeah. And then Serbian film is 10. And it's like, even though it's brand new, it's still 10 because today's movies.
A lot of today's movies will never rank that close, and for the fact that this movie is only a little over a year old because it came out in 2011.
Yeah.
This movie, I love it. That was the second time I watched it. I watched it with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of warned you that it was a gruesome film, and you're not a big fan of super gory horror films.
No, I like more of the psychological stuff, of course, you know. But sitting watching this, you saw me. I was sitting there, I was kind of just taking it all in, and I was like, I love it.
Yeah.
But it makes me feel like I should go take a shower now.
Yeah, it really does. But I love this movie.
It's a great movie.
Love this movie.
Love it.
So again, Serbian film, perfect.
Oh, I gotta talk about something.
What's up?
My buddy Igor.
Oh, the Serbian guy.
Yeah, I got a friend,
everybody.
From
Serbia.
That he's from Serbia. He's a great guy. He's awesome. I talked to him about it.
And?
He's never seen it.
Really?
I'm like, dude, have you ever seen a Serbian film? He's like, no, I didn't even know that was a movie. I'm like, dude, you gotta go watch it, but just kind of keep in your mind, just because of this movie, I don't think of you any different.
Okay.
I'm gonna check up on him today, see if he watched it yet.
Okay. So now it's time for the comparison. We have the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 1977.
Really old.
By Toby Hopper, I believe, was the director. And I can't remember
off the top of my head
who the actor was who played Leatherface in that one. I might be wrong, and Toby Hopper might have been Leatherface. I don't remember now. In the new version, the 2004, I do remember the actor. His name is Andrew Benarski, and I'm not a fan of his. I've actually met him at a couple of rocket trucks, and he is such
smug.
No, not so much. He likes to talk to himself in the third person. He's like, "Oh, Leatherface likes heavy metal music," and he's just such a weirdo.
JJ likes heavy metal music. JJ likes rocking out.
I'm gonna shove that antler through your neck. Anyway, so I don't really want to get into details on this because, you know, these movies, they're both pretty old at this point because one of them is well over 30 years old.
Yeah.
Another one is almost 10 years old, so I'm sure most people have seen them. So I'm just going to jump right into which one I like better, and I'm going to go with the classic.
I'm going to be an asshole.
You like the remake?
I like the remake. I like the new one.
The remake is so bad.
Only because
it's too dark.
I've seen only bits and pieces of the old one.
See, the 2004 remake, it's too dark to the point where you can't see Leatherface at all.
Not if you brighten up the screen.
Dude, I did brighten up the screen, and it was still too fucking dark.
Wasn't for me.
That movie's just sucked. I'm sorry, it just sucked. Now the sequel, or I guess you'd call it prequel that they did at the beginning, I really did like. But
maybe that's the one I saw.
But this one just sucked. I hated it. It was so bad.
I'm not a big Leatherface fan.
I love Leatherface. Really cool character. Alright, so obviously we're split on that yet again.
Because we're totally different. Just about. Yeah. But you know what? That's okay. Deal with it to
so, oh shit, we didn't do our top 5 list.
Oh, that's right.
So let's do that real quick. Our top 5 list is our top 5 favorite gothic horror monsters.
Right.
I'm gonna go first. My number 5 is Dracula.
I love the Dracula.
And I put Dracula only at number 5 because he is very iconic, but there are others that I love more than Dracula. And Dracula really didn't have a lot more when it came to books. It was more movies. So that's why I put Dracula at number 5.
Okay.
Number 4, sorry. I obviously can't count today. Number 4. Now, this one might throw some people off, but I choose Cthulhu from Call of Cthulhu.
Definitely threw me off when you told me. I was like,
great story. And I know a lot of people might say, oh, it's science fiction or it's psychological horror, which it really is, but it's definitely gothic horror, especially if you read any of Lovecraft, really. And the reason I chose Cthulhu over a lot of the other ones is he is the most iconic. I mean, I really contemplated about like Dagon or Hastur, but I chose Cthulhu. At number 3, The Phantom of the Opera.
I love The Phantom of the Opera. It's not my favorite one.
Totally gothic, creepy.
Yes.
And I love The Phantom of the Opera. The original with Lon Chaney is one of my all-time favorite silent films. At number 2. Now, I'm probably going to be, out of the two of us anyway, the only one who's seen this film. And I can't remember the name of the vampire, unfortunately. But London After Midnight is the name of the film. And again, it stars Lon Chaney as the vampire.
Okay.
Never seen it. And unlike regular vampires, which are really skinny and they just have the 2 fangs, he's got more like a shark mouth. He's actually kind of fat. And he's like got this really long top hat. I love this character. He's really creepy looking. And my all-time number 1 is Mr. Hyde from Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
I love the story. I mean, even as a kid, I thought that story was fascinating. The story is one of my all-time
favorite stories. Actually, come to think of it, it's my favorite book. I've read it numerous times. And there were a lot of gothic monsters I contemplated. Like I contemplated Dorian Gray from Portrait of Dorian Gray. I contemplated Frankenstein, the Mummy. I mean, there were a ton. But that's my list.
Okay. Well, don't give my list away.
Okay.
Okay. But number 5, I would say. I just had in my head The Creature from the Black Lagoon.
The Gill-Man.
The Gill-Man.
Okay.
I've seen the old one.
Yep.
And I loved it. I thought it was a good flick.
It's a great movie.
And
unfortunately, there really hasn't been a lot with the Gill-Man as of
give it time, it'll come back.
There was a company actually that specifically went back and did modern versions of the old Universal, and the Gill-Man was brought back. It was Return to Black Lagoon or something along those lines. I've actually got it in one of my issues of Fangoria, which you can buy at numerous stores. I know that was a cheap.
Not Walmart.
That was a cheap promotion for Fangoria. I'm sorry
you know what?
for that. They're not paying me to promote them, but
you know what? We love them.
I love
you
Fangoria.
You can love them too.
Rue Morgue, any of those magazines, and if there's a movie in there that you guys want us to review, feel free to email either JJ or myself. Put it up on our Facebook page, YouTube, whatever. If you guys have come to our show and there's something you want to see, let us know.
Definitely.
All right, so Gill-Man.
Gill-Man. Number 4, I'm going to agree with you. Dracula.
Okay.
I like Dracula. He's just a creepy character.
Very cool character.
And in any movie,
and
really.
You're not a huge vampire fan either.
I'm not a vampire fan, but you know what? Dracula's pretty badass.
Which is weird that you're not a vampire fan, yet you're complimenting Dracula. You've complimented Nosferatu, both vampire flicks.
I like the old ones. I mean, just
some of the newer ones are good. We'll get into that.
We'll get to that later.
All right, so number 3.
Mummy.
The Mummy.
I like the Mummy.
Which I'm gonna.
Do you got a Mummy picture or something?
I've got a poster actually here somewhere, and I think it might be rolled up. Excuse me, guys. You can keep talking while I look.
But I mean, the newer movies.
Here it is. And this is an original. It's not a reprint.
Yes, that's the one I like with
I don't know if you guys can see that or not.
David Manners.
Boris Karloff, who played
definitely Karloff.
Which again, this is not a reprint. This is an original. I got this off eBay.
How much did it cost you?
A lot.
Sure.
Let's just put it that way.
And with one tear, look at that.
I just got a couple of tears. Unfortunately, the guy who had this, he didn't put it in a frame or anything. He just tacked it up.
Whatever. That's pretty awesome, though. But the mummy.
Really cool. It's covered with dust, so I guess that kind of fits the mold of the mummy.
But that's number 3. I like the movies. And just the thought of something ancient coming back to life.
That's true. That's true. All right, so number 2.
Now this was a hard one because number 2 and number 1 are just something about them. I love them.
It is really difficult.
But number 2, I'm going to go with The Invisible Man.
That is a good one.
I love The Invisible Man, and I know we were talking about the other day, and you brought him up, and I was like, how could I forget about The Invisible Man?
Yeah, H.G. Wells, one of the coolest science fiction horror stories of all time. I remember seeing the movie when I was really young.
Yeah, well, I haven't seen it recently either.
I love the movie. Great movie.
But it's just...
And he was one that I contemplated, but he didn't make my list, unfortunately. And you're number 1.
Frankenstein.
I
love
Frankie.
Frankie.
Onto that.
Mary Shelley, it was created as a story for when she was out in the woods and with her friends and stuff. I thought that was an awesome story.
Really isn't anything to do with the book or even later renditions of the movie. It's the Universal one that I've got an issue with.
Okay.
Because they cut the story into 2 movies.
Yeah.
And that was my big problem, because they cut it into Frankenstein, which of course everybody knows with Boris Karloff and everything, and then they did the sequel a couple years later, also starring Boris Karloff, but they did it as Bride of Frankenstein. I would have liked to have just seen the full story in one.
And which we put in our list as the biggest bitch and one of the biggest bitch.
For you, yeah.
But still,
again,
I love Frankenstein though.
All right, so let's jump to our artist of the week. We've got a writer, and this guy was your choice.
As a writer, he inspires so much out of me.
Oh, same.
He created a whole genre.
I wouldn't say so much that he created a genre.
He helped it along anyway, though. Like really,
he's probably the most recognizable writer of that genre. I mean, obviously Bram Stoker is really well known.
Yeah.
Of course. Mary Shelley, like you spoke of. But to me, when I think the gothic horror genre, nobody epitomizes it like this guy.
He's definitely most known for it, and of course we're talking about Edgar Allan Poe. I love this guy. I have a complete storybook at home, and you have one right here that's actually very, very nice looking. Yeah. I complimented on you earlier.
Yeah, you did.
I'm just going to show you guys. Look at this thing.
It's beautiful.
This is so nice.
The pages are gold lift, which I love.
This is way better than my book. I almost want to steal this from you, but I won't because I'm a nice guy.
I've actually got a couple of Poe collections, because every time they claim that it's a complete collection, it never really is. Which
I've noticed that actually, because I'm missing the Raven out of my book. So
really?
Yes.
Both of mine thankfully have the Raven, but I noticed that my blue one is actually missing Annabelle Lee.
Really?
Yeah, and the red one is actually missing a lot of his earlier poems.
His poems were good.
Which is kind of surprising.
Now I gotta ask this. Favorite story?
House of Usher.
You like the Fall of the House of Usher.
That is my all-time favorite. And we're talking stories, not poems, right? Strictly stories.
We're talking story. I mean, I don't know what you'd classify. I'd classify mine as a story, and that's Bernice. And it was a story, but it was really short.
Yeah, I would say that that's a story. I mean, House of Usher is not a very long one either. Now, see, if we were going poems.
Oh goodness.
I'd have to go with The Raven, only because it was the first one I read, and it's the most iconic to me. Like, when I think of Poe, the first thing that comes to mind for me is The Raven.
You know what I think of? I think of
and it's really hard to pick a favorite for someone as well talented as Poe.
What was that story that's gonna bother me? It's like his most well-known one.
The Tall Tale Heart?
Yes! Thank you.
That's a good one. I
love that one.
I really like Tall Tale Heart.
I actually got to know Poe through that story, so...
Yeah, that was a really, really cool story. Big fan.
Love the guy. Love him.
I mean, there's really not anything bad against him.
And the only thing that stinks about it, I don't know if you knew this, he actually became famous after he died.
Yeah, I mean, he had very minimal fame otherwise, because a lot of his poems and stories were actually printed in newspapers.
Yeah.
And I didn't know if you know this little fun fact. After The Raven came out, in the newspaper, he actually would have children follow him, screaming, "Mr. Raven, Mr. Raven." And he would turn around, he would throw his coat out to make it look like wings and scare the kids. And I thought that was really cool. And there's a lot of debate about how he died. Some people say it was due to his alcoholism, which he was. He was a massive alcoholic. But a lot of people think that because he owed money to people that he was murdered. I think he was murdered.
I think so. It just seems fitting to him.
It does.
I mean, him being a writer who often wrote about murder.
For me, you know, Poe ranks up there as one of the greatest writers of all time.
Definitely.
And I can't say anything bad about him. I mean, there's not been one story or poem of his that I disliked.
I could agree with that. Yeah. I love his stuff.
Again,
It's just awesome.
I personally love Poe.
Awesome.
So that concludes episode 5. That was actually one of our shorter episodes.
Definitely at a half an hour. Wow.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Our last episode was like 40 minutes.
Yeah. So we'll see you soon. I'm not going to say within a week because it seems every time that I say that it's not.
It's not. It's like a week and a half.
So hopefully it'll be sooner than that. I apologize for all the.
We will try.
Lagging. Do you have your films picked out for next week?
Yes.
All right, what do you got?
I'm going to go with a theme.
You're going.
Mine is comedians gone serious.
Really?
I'm going to do the number 23 with Jim Carrey. Awesome, really funny guy. Yet this movie is dead serious.
It is. It really is.
And I'm going to go with Robin Williams, his 1 hour photo. That was a creepy.
That was a creepy flick.
That was a creepy movie.
That's cool.
It's not horror, but creepy.
I'm not going with a theme. I just kind of picked 2 films out of my collection. The first one is, and I already said in our top B-rate films, this is one of my all-time favorites. I think it came in at number 2 for me. Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Oh my goodness!
Which I'm really excited about watching again.
I'm gonna watch that with you because I've never seen it.
And my other one is going to be a gore house film again. I love my gore, and I can't hold it back.
Love your blood.
And I can't hold it back anymore.
No wonder you like vampires. No wonder you like vampires.
I love vampires. But my next one is Megan is Missing from 2012.
Yeah, you told me about this, and I've never even heard of it. So I'm gonna have to watch that with you too, because I've.
Our comparison next week is going to be on the 1981, I believe, is when it came out. Nightmare on Elm Street to the 2011 Nightmare on Elm Street, and I think that this one is going to be another one where we're going to completely disagree. Do you have a top 5 list picked out?
I don't actually know, which is surprising because I usually have all this planned beforehand.
You do usually. Okay, so JJ's going to come up with a top 5.
We'll do a surprise. It'll be a surprise top 5.
We'll hopefully have that posted on the Facebook when he figures that out. And of course, it'll be my turn for Artist of the Week, which I have still yet to figure that out either. So
surprise.
That'll also be a surprise. Which that's actually usually a surprise anyway. So yeah.
All right. Well,
woo! Episode 6 soon. Oh, and we told you that we would actually show you around my little den of horrors. So let's do that real quick.
All right. Hopefully we got enough battery life on that.
We do. All right, Jay. What do you want to point out first?
Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah, this is
poster.
This JJ has pretty much wanted to steal from me since he saw it. This again, this is an original. I try not to do reprints. And actually, the really neat thing with this, I don't know if you guys can see it because there is kind of a glare. This woman right here in the corner is actually nude. Thank you, JJ. Naked chick. And that was actually censored before.
So.
We got some autographs over here. We got Fred Vogel's from the August Underground series. Really, really gory films. Over here, one of my all-time favorites, and again, I apologize for the glare. That is Lawrence R. Harvey, and it actually says, "To Ed, don't poop on my floor." Lawrence R. Harvey. That's a scene from Human Centipede 2, one of my all-time favorite movies.
Would you have expressed a lot?
I have. Oh, check out my shark. This thing's pretty rad.
Oh, yes. You just got that one, didn't you?
I did. This is one of the new parts to my collection.
He's got the weirdest stuff. You go to my room, it's the average...
Woo, spooky.
It's the average...
let's see, what else we got over here?
Your room is crazy.
Random devil sticking out of my wall. I know he's spooky, isn't he?
Punch him in the face.
Oh, don't punch the devil. What did he do to you? My
What?
my skull collection. We got to show him that.
Oh yes.
We've got let's see that one right there. That's a deer skull, which
This one?
That one is, and I
Okay.
actually cleaned that myself with Raven's help, my wife. We've got a little chipmunk skull. That's a pig skull, and of course back there that's a human skull.
Very nice. And this one here that you.
Oh yes, this one actually needs a bleaching, but this is a red fox skull.
Which is pretty sweet, I'd say. I mean, I like foxes, so this is. When you guys told me about this, I was like, oh, I gotta see it.
It does need a bleaching, as you guys can probably see. It's pretty dirty.
It's tattered. It's got like some.
It's pretty
in there,
it's pretty
but
gnarly.
That's still pretty sweet.
Let's see. We got my gargoyle collection, just kind of chilling out. I love gargoyles, which most of you guys who do view the show who know me know my love for gargoyles. Oh, my Tales from the Crypt again, original.
Like super glare. There we go.
Oh, again, original. We don't do fake here. And for all my other Clive Barker fans, puzzle box.
I was actually playing with that earlier when you were downstairs.
Were you?
I was like, what is this?
Let's see what else. Oh, Possession. Again, original poster.
No fakies.
Let's see. Oh, Army of Darkness. Gotta love that. This is really cool for all my punk rock bros out there. Little G.G. Allen bobblehead for those of you who actually know who G.G. is. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, my swords. My Tim Burton-esque Christmas tree that my wife so wonderfully decorated.
She did a great job.
She did.
And speaking of that, everybody, yes, Ed just got married.
Yeah, sorry.
And I was there.
Sorry, ladies, I'm off the market. I know.
But I'm still around.
Yeah, JJ's still available. JJ's still available.
I'm the only one out.
But yeah.
Blood here.
Yeah, got my True Blood poster. Big fan of that.
You got other stuff.
My dead dolls, which are kind of just sporadically tossed in there. I'm trying to make room for everything. So
we'll get to it eventually.
Bear with me. I'm sure we'll record here again at some point. I think that's everything, isn't it, Jay?
I would say so.
Oh, my
massive book collection.
My random book collection, all categorized by horror of different styles. I mean, I've got all my Clive Barker, which again everyone knows I'm a huge fan. My vampires.
Categorized by awesomeness.
It is categorized by awesomeness. And I think that's pretty much everything.
Yeah, that's it for now, but more coming.
All right, sure. So yeah, end of episode 5, and a quick little tour of my cabinet of horrors. And we love having you guys checking out the show. We hope you're loving the episodes, and again, comment, let us know if you love us, hate us. Maybe you want to have sex with JJ.
Oh God.
Send him a message.
You're making me seem like a whore.
Send him a message. Remember, he's single. He's still available. So until next time.
Meet me account. All right.
You can find JJ like all over the place. I'm sure he's got accounts on Facebook, MySpace.
I haven't checked my MySpace account in ages. I better do that.
I haven't been on my MySpace in forever.
I still know how to get on it, which is
so
surprising.
do I. So for all the MySpace people that actually wanted
are still on MySpace.
Yeah, I guess they upgraded not too long ago actually, which is kind of funny.
MySpace upgraded?
Yeah,
They
apparently.
should just give up.
They probably should.
It's like, I wonder if I actually know I just thought of. What if the guy who created MySpace has a Facebook account?
Tom? MySpace Tom? He probably does. Did you know that MySpace Tom is actually a black dude?
What?
Yeah, I'm serious.
I picture of him as a white guy.
No, they've got a random picture of some white dude, but the real Tom is actually a black guy, and it's hilarious because I found him on another social network called rvb.roosterteeth.com.
I love Rooster Teeth.
And I actually have him as a friend on there. And his username is MySpace Tom, and he told me that straight out that he's the guy who created it. And I'm like, all right, tell me something that only the MySpace Tom would know. And he's like telling me all this stuff, and I'm like, wow, that's kind of cool that you actually are the MySpace Tom.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. So anyway, we've kind of rambled on.
We're just stretching this episode out longer than it needs to be.
Pretty much. Is there anything else we need to talk about?
No. I think we've covered all bases.
Did we cover all bases?
I mean, we skipped a couple. We skipped top 5.
Oh, there is actually one thing that I did forget about.
What's that?
I was going to mention this actually on the Facebook page, and I completely spaced it. And this happened.
I spaced it.
I did.
Sorry.
It's all good, man.
Oh,
But no, this happened actually about a week ago. The original Jason from Friday the 13th 1 and 2 passed.
Yes, okay.
He passed away.
Really?
Yeah, Andy something. I can't think of his last name. I'll look it up and I will post it. So may he rest in peace. Hopefully, he's
just don't pop back up and actually be Jason.
Hopefully, you're running around in a heavenly Camp Crystal Lake and slashing those stupid teenagers. That.
Damn kids.
Well, come on, man. They're so fucking stupid. They're so easy to kill. You can strangle them with a cordless phone. All right. So yeah. Again, this is like the umpteenth time that we've said goodbye. Wave bye, JJ.
Bye.
Later.